ಈಗ ನಾವು ಡಿಸ್ಕಷನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿದ್ದ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ಕು ಲೆಂತ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್, ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಡೆರಿವೇಷನ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ನ್ಯೂಮರಿಕಲ್ಸ್ ಆನ್ ದ ಬೇಸಿಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಲೆಂತ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್. ಓಕೆ, ದ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಬರೋದು ಈ ಲೆಂತ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಏನು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ಸಪೋಸ್ ಇಫ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಅ ರಾಡ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದಿಸ್, ಇಫ್ ದಿಸ್ ರಾಡ್ ಈಸ್ ಮೂವಿಂಗ್ ಕಂಪೇರಬಲಿ ವಿತ್ ದ ಸ್ಪೀಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಲೈಟ್ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೋರಿ, ದೆನ್ ಇಫ್ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಅ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವರ್ at rest, ನನಗೇನು ಅನಿಸುತ್ತೆ, ಇದ್ರದ್ದು ರಾಡ್ ಇದ್ರ ಲೆಂತು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಕಾಣಿಸುತ್ತೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ಇಫ್ ಐ ಮೇಜರ್ ದ ಲೆಂತ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ರಾಡ್, ಇಟ್ ಅಪಿಯರ್ಸ್, ಇಟ್ ನಾಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಅಪಿಯರ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ನೋದು. ನಾನು ಮೇಜರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅದ್ರ ಲೆಂತು ಸಪೋಸ್ 1 ಮೀಟ್ರ್ ಇದ್ದು 1 ಮೀಟ್ರ್ ಕಾಣಿಸಂಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಲೆಸ್ ದೆನ್ 1 ಮೀಟ್ರ್ ಅದು ಕಾಣಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ನನ್ನ ಮೇಜರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ ಲೆಸ್ ದೆನ್ 1 ಮೀಟ್ರ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಅದೇ ನಮ್ಮ ಲೆಂತ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್. ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ಸಿ ದ್ಯಾಟ್. Suppose we have a one frame of reference which is rest anta ankonತೀನಿ, that is S frame of reference. There is another frame of reference which is moving with velocity v, and the velocity v is comparable to the velocity of light c anta ಅನ್ಕೋರಿ. This is the frame of reference S dash. ಈ frame of reference S dash ಅಲ್ಲಿ there is a rod we kept, one rod another, okay, and the length of the rod, let us say that is L0. Yaridu, if we measure the length of the rod from the same S dash frame of reference in the measure ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅದರ length ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ L0. that L0 we called a proper length ಅಂತ ಕರಿತಾ ಇದೀವಿ. The length of an object that is measured by an observer at rest with respect to the object, that is called a proper length. ಓಕೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿರುವಂತಹ ಮನುಷ್ಯ ಅಂದರೆ ಯಾವುದು ಎಸ್ ಡ್ಯಾಶ್ ಫ್ರೇಮ್ ಏನು ವಿ ವೆಲಾಸಿಟಿಯಿಂದ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಎಸ್ ಫ್ರೇಮ್ ಆಫ್ ರೆಫರೆನ್ಸಲ್ಲಿರುವಂತಹ ಮನುಷ್ಯ ಈ ಲೆಂತನ್ನು ಮೇಜರ್ ಮಾಡಿದರೆ ಅವನಿಗದು ಎಲ್ ನಾಟ್ ಕಾಣಲ್ಲ. ಇಟ್ ಅಪಿಯರ್ಸ್ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್, ನಾಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಅಪಿಯರ್ಸ್, ಹಿ ಮೇಜರ್ಸ್ ದ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಎಲ್ ಅಂತ ಅವನು ಮೇಜರ್ ಮಾಡೋದು. ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ದ ಎಲ್ ಈಸ್ ಲೆಸ್ ದ್ಯಾನ್ L0 ಆಗಿರ್ತದೆ. Okay, and that is a contracted length. Okay, and we are going to prove that measured length L is equals to, as measured by the frame from the frame of reference S, is equals to L0, that is proper length, into square root of 1 minus V square by C square. Okay, this is what we are going to prove. This is the derivation we need to, this is the equation we need to prove that. And the question is, what is exactly the definition of that length contraction. Length contraction definition ನಾವು ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ, we say it like this, ಹೀಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. What is that? The length of an object with a high velocity, that is approachable to the velocity of light, relative to an observer, is measured contracted in the direction of motion while no change in other direction perpendicular to its motion. This phenomenon is called a length contraction. ಏನ್ರಿ, what is that? ಇದು ಇದೇನು, if that rod is moving along this direction, ಯಾವ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅದೇ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನಲ್ಲಿ ಲೆಂತ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಅದ್ರ ಪರ್ಪೆಂಡಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಆಗಿ ನೀವು ಮೂವ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ, ಸಪೋಸ್ ದರ್ ಇಸ್ if this is moving in this direction ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೋರಿ, if this S dash frame is moving in this direction with velocity v, and here we have a frame of reference like this, ಈ frame of reference S ಇಲ್ಲಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೋರಿ. okay, now this is moving perpendicular to the length of the rod. ಅವಾಗ ನಿಮಗೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ರೀತಿ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಕಾಣಲ್ಲ. the contraction is, length contraction only takes place in the direction of length of the rod. Length of the rod ಯಾವ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಇದೆ ಅದೇ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಫ್ರೇಮ್ ಆಫ್ ರೆಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಎಸ್ ಡ್ಯಾಶ್ ಮೂವ್ ಆದರೆ, ದೆನ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಗೆಟ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್, you can measure that length is contracted. Suppose here you can see that this is our spaceship. ಇದೇನದ spaceship ಅದ. ಈ spaceshipಲಿ the spaceship is moving like this with velocity v, which is comparable to c. and as measured by this person, or that is alien anta ankori. Okay, ಈ ಏಲಿಯನ್ ಮೆಜರ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಎಷ್ಟು? ಸಪೋಸ್ ದ ಲೆಂತ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ರಾಡ್ ಈಸ್ 1 ಮೀಟರ್ ಅಂತ ಮೆಜರ್ ಮಾಡೋದಂತ ಅನ್ಕೋರಿ. ಓಕೆ, ವಿ ಆರ್ ಔಟ್ಸೈಡ್, ನಾವು ಹೊರಗಿಂದ ನಾವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅರ್ತಿಂದ ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಅದನ್ನು ಮೆಜರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ವಿ ಮೇಜರ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ದ ಲೆಂತ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ರಾಡ್ ಈಸ್ ಲೆಸ್ ದೆನ್ 1 ಮೀಟರ್. ನಮಗೇನು ಕಾಣಿಸುತ್ತದು? ಲೆಸ್ ದೆನ್ 1 ಮೀಟರ್. ಯಾವಾಗಿದು? ಇಫ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ spaceship is moving in the direction of the length of the rod. Suppose spaceship is moving perpendicular to the direction of the rod, ಹೀಗೆ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ ಅವಾಗ ನೀವು ಲೆಂತ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ರಾಡ್ ಏನು ಮೇಜರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ ಅದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಸೇಮ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಆಸ್ ಮೇಜರ್ಡ್ ಬೈ ದಟ್ ಏಲಿಯನ್ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಬೋದು. ಓಕೆ, ಆರ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ದಟ್ a moving rod, that is its speed should be approachable to velocity of light idre, is contracted in the direction of its motion and remains unchanged in the perpendicular direction ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಈ ಲೆಂತ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್ ನಾವು ಲಾರೆನ್ಸ್ ಫಿಟ್ಜ್‌ಜೆರಾಲ್ಡ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಂತಲೂ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಅ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಂತಲೂ ಕರಿತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್? Is the shortening of an object along the direction of its motion relative to an observer, and dimension in other direction are not contracted. What do you mean by the dimension in other direction not contracted? Okay, a length of the rod perpendicular ಆಗಿ ನೀವು ಮೋಷನ್ ಇದ್ದರೆ ಅಥವಾ the rod is in the motion perpendicular to the direction ಐತಪ್ಪ ಅಂದರೆ ಅವಾಗದು ಲೆಂತ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಕಾಣಲ್ಲ. Let's see that. Here it is. Here in this figure you can see that contraction is taking place in the direction of motion. Okay, perpendicular to the idenadalla, suppose here it is perpendicular anta ankori. Here what is this? Illi yavude length alli contraction agta illa. Okay, there is no contraction in this length, but there is only contraction taking place along the direction. ಈ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನಲ್ಲಿ ಬ್ಲ್ಯಾಕ್ ಏನು ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಿಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಬ್ಲ್ಯಾಕ್ ಲೈನು ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ದಟ್ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಮೂವಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್. ಈ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಅದೇ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ರದ್ದು ಲೆಂತ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಆದಂಗೆ ಆಗ್ತಾಯಿದೆ ಬೈ ದ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿಸ್ ಎಲ್ ಈಸ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ಸ್ ಟು ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಲೆಂತ್ ಎಲ್ ಈಸ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಟು ಎಲ್ ನಾಟ್ into square root of 1 minus v square by c square. Okay, and this is the expression we need to derive. Ide expression ನಾವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ derive ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು. Okay, now we need to derive that L, that is contracted length, is equals to L naught. L naught is we called a proper length into 1 minus v square divided by c square. Here that's S is a rest frame, or we can say that S is a rest reference frame, and S dash is a frame which is moving with the velocity v, which is comparable to the velocity of light along the x-axis. Here L naught, that is we can say that is a proper length. L naught ಅನ್ನು ಏನು ಬರಿತಾ ಇದೀವಿ ನಾವು? That is a proper length ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. Okay, proper length. And what about this L? There is L is we can say that is a contracted length. Okay, where is that L? Okay, we'll prove that L is equals to what? Okay, L is equal to, ನಾವು prove ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ that here L is equals to L naught square root of 1 minus v square by c square. Here that L is, that is a contracted length. Idenidu, that is it is a contracted length. See, from figure I can say that for the S frame of reference, for S frame of reference, that contracted length ಹೇಗೆ ಮೆಜರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ? ಸಪೋಸ್ ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ x1 ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ, ದಿಸ್ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಒನ್ ಎಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ರಾಡ್, ದಿಸ್ is x1. And what is x2? x2 ಹೇಗೆ ಬರೀತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ? Here x2, this is from the first frame of reference or S frame of reference. This is x2. Okay, and from figure I can say for S frame, you can express that L is equals to, here L is equals to, that is x2 minus x1 ಅಂತ ಬರಿತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. And similarly for S dash frame, this distance is x dash 1. This distance is x dash 1. And what about this distance? This is x dash 2. This distance is, you can express it as a x dash 2. And for S dash frame, let's write L naught is equal to, you can express it as x dash 2 minus x dash 1. Okay, this is your equation number 1 and this is equation number 2. And we know from the Lorentz transformation, I can express that x dash is equals to x minus v into t divided by square root of 1 minus v square divided by c square. So from this you can express it like this: x dash 2 is equals to, let me write, it is x2 minus v into t divided by a square root of 1 minus, it is v square by c square, and similarly x1 dash is equals to, it is x1 minus v into t divided by square root of 1 minus v square by c square. Now put the values of x dash 2 and x dash 1 in equation 2. What happens? Now it becomes L naught is equals to, I can write it like this: x dash 2 is, it is x2 minus v into t divided by square root of 1 minus v square by c square minus x dash 1, here it is the x dash 1, that is, here it is x1 minus v into t divided by square root of 1 minus v square by c square. Okay, on both sides denominator is same. Let's write it like this, that is L naught is equals to x2 minus v into t minus x1, here it is minus into minus ಏನಾಯಿತು ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, therefore I'll write it is plus v into t, denominator is same, that is square root of 1 minus v square by c square. Here this minus vt and plus vt get cancelled. You can express it like this, that is equals to, it is x2 minus x1 divided by square root of 1 minus v square by c square. And what is x2 minus x1? See the equation number 1. From equation number 1, that x2 minus x1 is equals to L. Therefore, I can express it as that L naught is equals to L divided by 1 minus square root of 1 minus v square by c square. Or we want it like, we want this L is equal to, that is contracted length, L is equals to, it is L naught, here L naught is the proper length, into square root of 1 minus v square by c square. Here what is that L? Okay, L ಏನು ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಇದು, this L is, here it is a contracted length, here it is a, this is, we can say that is a contracted length, this is a contracted length. And you may ask, what is that L naught? ಇದು L naught ಏನು ಅಂತ ನೀವು ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು. that L naught is we call it as a proper length. ಇದನ್ನ ನಾವೇನು ಕರೀತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ, that is proper length. You may ask, what is proper length? Proper length ಅಂದರೆ ಏನು ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು ನೀವು. Proper length ಅಂದರೆ the person who is in this rest frame, okay, this rod or this scale or rod is rest with respect to this person or this alien anta ankori. Okay, and the length of any object that is measured by an observer at rest with respect to the object, this object is which is at rest with respect to this observer, and whatever measurement made by this observer, okay, ಅದೇನು with respect to him it is at rest, ಅದೇನು ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ ಲೆಂತ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿರುವಂಥ ಪರ್ಸನ್ನು ಈ ಲೆಂತನ್ನು ಮೇಜರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನಲ್ಲ, ಅದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಏನು ಕರಿತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಲೆಂತ್. ಅವ್ರ ಲೆಂತಲ್ಲಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಓಕೆ, ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್? ದ ಲೆಂತ್ ಆಫ್ ಎನಿ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ measured by an observer at rest with respect to object is called a proper length. Okay, let's solve few numericals on the contraction of length. Here a rod of length 3 meter that moves with a velocity 10 raised to 8 meter per second with respect to the observer. The question is, what is the apparent length? Actually apparent length andre ille contracted length of the rod as measured by the observer anta ಆಗಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು. exactly ಇರಲಿ, no problem. Okay, here what we are given that the proper length of the rod is given, that is L naught is equal to 3 meter, and which is moving with velocity. V is also given, V is equals to, that is 10 raised to 8 meter per second, that is also given. Okay, and we know one thing, ನಮಗಿದು ಗೊತ್ತಿರುವಂಥ ವಿಷಯನೇ, that is velocity of light, that is c is equal to 3 into 10 to the power of 8 meter per second. And the question is like this, we need to calculate L. What is that L here? L is, they are saying what is the apparent length. ನಾನು apparent length ಕರೆಯಂಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅದನ್ನು, it is better we call it as a ಏನಂತ ಕರೆಯೋದನ್ನು ನಾವು contracted length or length contraction or contracted length anta kariyonu. Okay, and we know the formula. What is that formula? Formula says that here L is equals to L naught into square root of 1 minus v square divided by c square. This is our formula. Okay, and just substitute the values here. Here that is L, what we need to calculate, that L is equals to L naught is, that is 3 meter into square root of 1 minus V. Here V is that is 10 raised to 8 meter per second. It is 10 raised to 8 meter per second. ಅದನ್ನು ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಬೈ ಸಿ ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ 3 into 10 raised to 8 meter per second. ಅದನ್ನು ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. Okay, and just substitute that, solve it. Let's say that is 3 into square root of, it is 1 minus 10 raised to 16 divided by, here it is 3 square ಮಾಡಿದರೆ 9 ಆಯಿತು, 9 into 10 raised to 16. Here 10 raised to 16 and 10 raised to 16 get cancelled, and you are remain with that is 3 into square root of, it is 1 minus 1 by 9 ಅಂತ ಬರೀತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. Or that's equals to, I can write it is 3 into square root of, let's write it 9 minus 1 divided by 9. Or that is equals to, you can write that is 3, let's take that 1 by 9 common ತೆಗೆದುಬಿಡೋಣ. 9 minus 1 8 ಆಯಿತು, ಡಿವೈಡೆಡ್ ಬೈ 9 ಅದ. 1 by 9 ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ ರೂಟಿಂದ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ತೆಗೆದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ ಬಿಕಮ್ಸ್ 3 ಡಿವೈಡೆಡ್ ಬೈ 3, ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ ರೂಟ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ 8 ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಉಳೀತು. 3 3 ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಸಲ್ ಆಯಿತು, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಅವರ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಈಸ್ ದಟ್ L is equals to the contracted length. Here L is equals to, that is square root of 8. Okay, if you take a square root of 8 ಅನ್ನು ತೊಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ ನಿಮಗೇನು ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ? It is around 2.828 meter. Okay, the length appears, ಅಥವಾ the contracted length ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ? ಇದು 2.28 how much it is? 2.828 meter. The actual length ಎಷ್ಟಿತ್ತು ಅದ್ರದ್ದು? 3 meter ಇತ್ತು. ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಯಲ್ ಲೆಂತ್ ಅಂತ ಅರ್ಥ ಏನು? ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ ಲೆಂತ್ ಎಷ್ಟಿತ್ತು? 3 meter. ಬಟ್ ವಿತ್ ರೆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಟು ದ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವರ್ ಹೂ ಈಸ್ at rest with respect to that rod, or is it rod? Yes, rod. For him it appears, or he measures the length 2.828 meter. Okay, the next numerical is like this. Find the percentage of contraction produced in the length of a moving rod with a speed of 0.8 times of velocity of light, ಅಂದರೆ 0.8 c ಅಂತದ. Okay, in the direction of its length. Okay, there is a rod which is moving with velocity 0.8 times with the velocity of light. ಅದರ ಎಷ್ಟು ಪರ್ಸೆಂಟೇಜ್ ಅದು ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗೈತೆ ಅಂತ ನಮಗೆ ಕಾಣಿಸುತ್ತೆ ಆಸ್ ಮೆಜರ್ಡ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಅವರ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಫ್ರೇಮ್ ಆಫ್ ರೆಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೋರಿ, ಅಥವಾ ಅರ್ತ್ ಫ್ರೇಮ್ ಆಫ್ ರೆಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೋರಿ. Okay, what we are given? We are given the velocity of the rod is given. Let's write V is equal to, that is 0.8 times of c. And the question ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರೋದೇನು? ಪರ್ಸೆಂಟೇಜ್ ಆಫ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು. ಏನು ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು ಕ್ವಶನು? ವಿ ಆರ್ ಆಸ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಪರ್ಸೆಂಟೇಜ್ ಆಫ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್, ಎಷ್ಟು ಪರ್ಸೆಂಟೇಜು ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಯಿತು ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ಹೌ ಟು ರೈಟ್ ಇಟ್? ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ L divided by L0 into 100 is equals to question mark. This is the question. Okay, that is the percentage of contraction, and we know the formula. What is the formula? Formula ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತ ನೋಡ್ರಿ, L is equals to L0 into square root of 1 minus V square by C square ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ. ಓಕೆ, ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟ್. ಏನು ಸಬ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ? ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಸಿ ಹಿಯರ್, ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ರೈಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದಿಸ್. L divided by L0 is equals to, it is square root of 1 minus V square by C square. Okay, here it is V square by C square, and you are already given what is the value of V. ವಿ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಈಸ್ 0.8 ಟೈಮ್ಸ್ ಸಿ ಅದ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ನಾನು ಏನು ಬರಿತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ ಇಲ್ಲೇ, ಇನ್ಸ್ಟೆಡ್ ಆಫ್ ರೈಟಿಂಗ್ ವಿ ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ ಐ ನೀಡ್ ಟು ರೈಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಆಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ 0.8 ಟೈಮ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಸಿ ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ ಅಂತ ಬರೀಬೇಕು. ಏನಾಯ್ತು ಇಲ್ಲೇ, ಸಿ ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ ಗೆಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಸಲ್, ನೋ ಡೌಟ್. ಸಿ ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಸಲ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಐ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ರೈಟ್ ಎಲ್ ಡಿವೈಡೆಡ್ ಬೈ ಎಲ್ ನಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ಸ್ ಟು ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ ರೂಟ್ ಆಫ್ 1 ಮೈನಸ್ 0.8 ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿದರೆ ಎಷ್ಟಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ 0.64 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ಸ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ಸ್ ಟು ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ ರೂಟ್ ಆಫ್ 0.36 ಅಂತ ಬರಿತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. 1 ಮೈನಸ್ 0.64 is equal to 0.36, or that is L by L naught is equals to, here it is L divided by L naught is equals to, it is 0.6 ಅಂತ ಹೇಳೋಣ, L by L naught. And what we require, ನಮಗೆ ಬೇಕಾಗಿದ್ದೇನು, we want percentage of contraction. Percentage of contraction ಏನು ಬರ್ದಿರಿ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ, L divided by L naught into 100 ಅಂದಿರಿ. ಅದರ ಅರ್ಥ that's equals to, what is the value of L by L naught? Here L by L naught is 0.6 into 100, and that gives you, that is 60 percentage. Here what is this? This is what the percentage of contraction produced in length of a rod which is moving with a velocity of 0.8 times of velocity of light in the direction of its length. ಅದು ಎಷ್ಟು ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಅದ ಅನಿಸುತ್ತೆ, 60% of the contraction ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಹಿಯರ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್. ಎ ಮೂವಿಂಗ್ ಬಾಡಿ ಅಪಿಯರ್ಸ್ ಟು ಬಿ 20% shorter in length to the stationary observer, and you need to find its velocity relative to the stationary observer. ಏನಿದು? See here, what we are given, the body appear to be 20% shorter. Here the body appears to be 20% shorter, and we need to calculate velocity of that body. Okay, 20% shorter andre, now the length it appears, or the measured length ಏನದ, ಏನು ಬರೀಬೋದು ನಾನು, now the length appears here, now the length appears, ಎಷ್ಟು ಕಾಣಿಸುತ್ತೆ ಲೆಂತ್ ಅದು, 20% ಸಣ್ಣ ಕಾಣ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಏನು, 20% ಸಣ್ಣ ಕಾಣ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ 100 ಮೈನಸ್ 20. ಓಕೆ, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ನಿಮಗದು ಕಾಣ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು ಎಷ್ಟು, 80% ಕಾಣ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು ಅದರ ಒರಿಜಿನಲ್ ಲೆಂತನ್ನು ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ, ರೈಟ್. ಈ 80% ನಾನು 80% ನಾನು ಹೇಗೆ ಬರಿತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ, ಐ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ರೈಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದಿಸ್, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ L divided by L naught is equals to 80 divided by 100 ಅಂತ ಬರೆಯೋಣ. That's equals to, it is 0.8, and we know the formula. What is that formula? Formula ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ನನಗೆ, L is equals to L naught times of square root of 1 minus V square by C square ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. Okay, just we got that L divided by L naught is equal to, I can express it is square root of 1 minus V square by C square ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. What is L by L naught? L by L naught ಏನಂತ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, L by L naught here, this L by L naught ಏನದಲ್ಲ ಅದನ್ನು ಏನು ಬರಿತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ, we can express it like this, that is 0.8 is equals to square root of 1 minus V square. That is what we need to find. ಇದನ್ನೇ ನಾವು ಕಂಡುಹಿಡಿಯಬೇಕಾಗಿದ್ದು ಏನು, that is V square divided by C square, right? Now squaring on both sides, ಎರಡು ಸೈಡ್ ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಡೋಣ. On squaring on both sides I'll get it is 0.64 is equals to 1 minus v square. Here it is v square divided by c square, or bring this here. What is that? V square divided by c square is equals to 1 minus 0.64, or that's equal to, it is 0.36. ಮತ್ತೆ ಇದನ್ನು ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ ರೂಟ್ ತೆಗಿಯೋನು ಅಂದರೆ ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ವಿ ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ ಬೈ ಸಿ ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಟು 0.36 ಇದೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ನಾನು ಏನು ಬರೀತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ, ಆರ್ ಐ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ರೈಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದಿಸ್. ಹೀಗೆ ಬರೀತೀನಿ ದಟ್ ವಿ ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ is equals to c square into 0.36 ಅಂತ ಬರೆಯೋಣ. Okay, if you take a square root of this, is square root ತೆಗೀರಿ. Okay, what you get here, it is v is equals to, if I take a square root of this one, v is equal to, that is c into 0.6. And what is the value of c? Yes, we know the value of c is, that is 3 into 10 to the power of 8 into 0.6, and if you simplify this you will get, that is v is equals to 3 into 0.6, it is 1.8 into 10 raised to 8 meter per second. That is the velocity. Okay, that is the velocity relative to the observer. Okay, here is another question. To a stationary observer, the moving body appears to be half its actual length. Find its velocity relative to the observer. Okay, what we are given that? We are given that L divided by L naught ಏನದಲ್ಲ, that's equals to half, ಅಂದರೆ it's equal to 0.5 ಅದ. And you need to find the velocity of that object or moving of body. Okay, we know the formula. What is that? Let's write L is equals to L naught into square root of 1 minus v square by c square, or let's write it like this, L divided by L naught is equals to square root of 1 minus v square by c square. L by L naught is given, that is 0.5. It is 0.5 is equals to square root of 1 minus, I need to find that v, it is v square divided by c square. Again, it is similar to your previous one, just squaring on both sides. On squaring on both sides, how much you get? You will get it becomes 0.25 is equals to 1 minus, it is v square divided by c square. Bring this v square minus v square by c square left hand side, it becomes plus. Now I can write, it is v square divided by c square is equals to 1 minus 0.25, or that v square is equals to, or this is equals to what? This is equals to 0.75, or that v square is equals to, you can express, that is 0.75 times of c square. Okay, let's taking the square root on both sides, will get v is equal to, that is v is equals to, if you take a square root of 0.75, okay, here c square becomes, this 3c into square root of 0.75, and therefore v is equals to, that V is equal to we know the value of C. The value of C is 3 into 10 raised to 8 into square root of 0.75. Okay, if you take a square root of 0.75, it is ಎಷ್ಟಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಇದು 0.866. okay, and after simplification you will get it is around 2.598, okay, into 10 raised to 8 meter per second. That is what velocity idenidu velocity of that object. Okay, to a stationary observer the moving body appears to be half of its actual length. Its velocity related to the observer will be 2.598 times the velocity of light ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. Okay, and these are the few questions which are based on length contraction. And the most important thing I need to say ಏನಪ್ಪ ಅಂದರೆ, you have to ನೀವೇನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಕಂಪಲ್ಸರಿ ನೋಟ್ಸನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ ಇದನ್ನು ವಿಡಿಯೋ ನೋಡಿದರೆ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಗೆಟ್ ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್, ಆರ್ ಎಲ್ಸ್ ಯು ವೋಂಟ್ ಗೆಟ್ ಎನಿಥಿಂಗ್. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಕೀ. ಓಕೆ, ಮೇಕ್ ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಅಗೇನ್ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಸೇಯಿಂಗ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಮೇಕ್ ಅ ನೋಟ್ಸನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿರಿ, ಅಂದರೆ ನಿಮಗೇನು ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನೂ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಇನ್ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ class or in next video we'll discuss time dilation and its derivation. Anantara numericals on this topic, that is time dilation.